Bambiz presents Elder Law Growth, the podcast that helps elder law and estate planning attorneys attract clients without wasting time or money. I'm your host, Jim Blake. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to the Elder Law Growth Podcast. I'm Nicole, and I know I'm not your usual host, but our team over at Bambiz wanted to give you a special treat. We're dropping March's episode a little bit early, just because we're getting excited about the upcoming estate planning and elder law marketing summit that's happening on March 6th and 7th in Orlando, Florida this year. So to get you pumped for this year's event, we're going to share a recording of one of Jim's talks from last year's summit. It really seemed to resonate with our attendees that were there. It's an unstoppable growth for your law firm. And we figured this was the perfect way to give you a little taste of what's expected to come at this year's summit. This episode is slightly longer than our normal episodes, but trust me, it's packed with so much valuable information. So grab a snack, grab a drink, settle in. For the summit, you can learn more about that by clicking the link that's in our show notes below. But that's enough of me talking. You don't want to hear me talk anymore, so let's get into this episode.
We only do marketing for estate planning and elder law firms. And I'll tell you a little bit about why that is, right? So a little bit of background of why would we have started a business only helping estate planning and elder law firms with their marketing. So my wife actually used to work for elder counsel, and my background has always been in sales and marketing. And I would go to a lot of events with my wife and meet attorneys doing these elder law boot camps at elder counsel events. And the one thing that a lot of them were like, I'm just on my own, I'm starting off, but how do I get clients? How do I get people to come to my firm? And I actually just started helping them for free. I just started helping them, putting ideas together and helping them. And it worked. The first thing we did, I think, was called a digital document where they put passwords on it. We put it on the internet. People started downloading it. It was really good. And then we did workshops. And that was the game changer. And so we ended up scaling that. Finally, I was like, someone told me, hey, you know what? Lawyers will pay you to do that. And I asked them to pay me. And now I replaced my income with my full-time salary, and Bambiz became a real thing. So that's the background. I was in 2016. And so here we are in 2024, helping law firms all over the country. So it's been great. So the three things I want you to get out of this presentation today is to stop wasting time and money, attract great clients that you love, and grow the practice of your dreams. So is anybody here not looking to do any of those three things? I didn't think so. Here's what we're going to cover in this presentation. Mastering paid advertising and lead generation. I know some of you have mentioned that when we were sharing our ideas. Effective websites and SEO. Online reviews. Social media and YouTube. Email management, as well as workshops, seminars, and webinars. So I like to say, there's three things that can happen when you come to an event like this. The first thing that can happen is you come here, you enjoy Denver, you listen to what the speakers say, you do nothing. You go back to your normal lives after this event. That's an option. The second is you take great notes. Your team really gets all this information, takes the tools, and you guys go back and you DIY it, do it yourself at the firm level. And that's a great option as well. And the third one is you focus on your excellence and why you are doing what you're doing, which is practicing law and being the best elder law and estate planning attorneys that you possibly can be. And using our sponsors, Hiring and Empowering, Bambiz, to help guide you and show you the best practices. So I just want you to think about those three things as you go through these presentations today. What do you plan on doing? Do you plan on DIYing it or focusing on your excellence? Hopefully nobody's choosing option number one. Let's jump into mastering paid advertising and lead generation. The main things, and we're going to talk about things that I typically see and we see at Bambiz, when people are running their own ads, or maybe they hire an agency that does auto repair, the local bakery, and an estate planning law firm. You have to know your goals before you start spending money on ads. What's the goal? Why do you actually want to spend money on ads? Do you want people to just know your name? Do you want to show something funny? Do you want people to actually give you their contact information so that they can engage with you and build your list? Do you want them to come to a workshop or a seminar? All those are options, but you just need to know what you're doing. The most common thing I see is it's just a random ad people are paying for that sends them to a page on their website that has nothing that matters to anybody, and they're literally wasting money I should have put a little GIF on here or something of like Mark Zuckerberg, like just taking your money and dancing, because that's what really that would be like doing. No distractions and extreme focus. When you're paying money for an ad online, it needs to take people to a page where there's no distractions on that page. There's no other options on that page. The only reason that they clicked that ad is because they're going to do what you wanted them to do in the ad. And so I'm going to show you some examples of this in a second. Pain points or issues that your best clients have and provide answer to those questions. There's nothing worse than seeing an ad for somebody that's like, hey, I'll just use this example, Pet Trust. But they don't really want Pet Trust clients, right? They want something else. So you have to think to yourself, and I'm not going to go into like the marketing strategies where you build out like an ideal avatar for who you want to come into your firm. Even though you're all practicing in estate planning and elder law, it's all going to be a little bit different. Some people are going to focus more on business owners. Some people are going to focus more on families. Some people are going to focus more on the seniors themselves. And then of those, they're going to break it down into further niches, right? Income, lifestyle, etc. Map that out and write the pain that those particular clients come to you with. What are the top 1, 2, 3 questions that these particular ideal clients that you literally could work with every single day and be the happiest that you could be are asking you? And focus on them. That's what you should be spending your money on ads that actually attract people you want to work with. And I know that sounds obvious, but you would see it's not so obvious when you look at what people are spending their money on. When you're doing paid advertising, you're doing it because you want a quick win. This isn't SEO. This isn't some kind of a long game. This is, I'm going to spend money on ads online, and I'm going to get people tomorrow providing me with their contact information so that we can help them and their families as soon as possible. This is how you can start generating more revenue quickly. But the downside of that is you're obviously paying for that. So the goal when you're doing these paid advertising campaigns is this. And I try to have our team explain it as much as we possibly can, because some people want pretty ads, or some people want stock images, or some people want to do their videos in a studio, but it blends in the background. When you're putting these ads out, you have to stop the scroll. And think about when you're on these platforms, Facebooks, Instagrams. Some people will do them on LinkedIn. The real modern people are doing them on TikTok and dancing and stuff like that. That's crazy though. Not our niche. But you want to stop the scroll and stand out. You want to be a little bit different. You want to make a funny face as your thumbnail. You want people to stop, because if they don't stop, they never see your ad. So stop the scroll and stand out. Get them to read something. The beginning line of your ad should be the pain point that your ideal client is having right now. You want the first thing that they see in the ad to be something that matters to them the most. Then you got to get them to click. Give as many opportunities in that ad to have your link to where you want them to go. That's going to be typically a landing page where it's going to collect contact information, but you got to get them to click. Here's where most firms lose somebody with paid ads. Say they do all that really, really well. They go to a page that makes no sense to them after they click it. They liked the ad. They stopped. They clicked the ad. They liked what you were talking about, the pain point. They go to a page that talks about something completely different than they just saw in the ad. People's attention spans are like this and getting smaller. If your page that you send them to from the ad does not exactly pretty much show what they just read in the previous ad, they're out. You just wasted that money. So you need to make the page that they go to, get them to remember why they clicked. You can't talk about probate on the ad and talk about something completely different when they click on, they click on the ad and go to the page. The bullets need to be the same. The headline needs to be the same. It needs to be the same. And then you have to get them to opt in. Now they've done all that, and you go, oh my goodness, now they're going to have to give you their phone number, their name, their email address. That's like, might as well be handing them $5. That's what it's worth pretty much, right? And yes, it's hard. Lots of opportunity there to miss out and to lose out on that process. But if you're doing those things, you're going to have the best chance. Effective websites and SEO. Raise your hand if you've heard of a gentleman, Donald Miller. He does a book called Story Brand. Anybody? I'm trying to gauge the room of familiarity. So some of you have. About 20% of the room, maybe. That's great. That's better than I thought. When your website needs to be about your clients and not you. And so the number one thing that we see on a quote unquote bad website is that the person goes to the website and it's all about you and your firm and your education. And it needs to be about the person that is coming to the page. And in Donald Miller's story brand, I didn't make this up. This is the hero's journey type of a thing. But it needs to be showing them in clear language how you help them as a trusted guide. And so your website needs to clearly, above the fold, show what they're experiencing and then take them through a story. If you haven't, I'd say go on Amazon, buy that book, Building a Story Brand. That's a great place to start. You can go to our demo website that we've built out, centralfloridaeldercare.com. We get leads for that. It says it's a demo website. You would believe how many people actually send us emails like, I need help. Like, oh, forward that to a client in Central Florida. But you have to let them know the one main thing that you want them to do. You've got to make your messaging very, very clear. And then again, just like in the ads, you're always talking about the pain points and you need to provide answers to those questions. Overwhelm is loss. So you do not want to lose people from your website. You want to make your website have lots of call to actions. It doesn't need just to be a glorified business card. It needs to be a place where they can go to it. They're a part of the story. You're their guide, and there's call to actions. There's a resource that we provided at Bambiz. It's called a blueprint, website blueprint. It's a wireframe of what a website should look like. And if you're going to do that option 2 from before and DIY it, that's a great place to start. You want to have lead generation options on your website. You want your people to go to your website. You want people to give you their contact information, and you want to be able to have your firm engage with those people. Things that you can do successfully on your website to attract and get more leads so you can help more families. A guide or short video. A guide would be something like that you see over there. 5 things to consider when choosing a nursing home. Webinar or a workshop or a direct consultation. So those are just some options that you have on your website in multiple places so that people can provide their information and reach out to you. Again, don't talk about you. Talk about them, their problems, their family, what life looks like after working with your firm. That's the biggest thing, right? This is my problem, and this is your process, but this is what life looks like at the bottom, right? This is what life looks like after you've been able to help me at your firm. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what you want to do with the website. That blueprint that's inside of your tools is going to really help you with that. And then the SEO part, I'm just going to give you a strategy. You could go into SEO conversations for like a million years, but go and type what you actually want people to find you online for, like actually what you want them to find, and then see online who in your area is ranking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in those things. Now, with tools like ChatGPT, if you wanted to use that, and yourself, you can literally take the 3 things that Google, Bing, whoever is finding the most valuable in your local community, and you can say, I need to make a better piece of content than those things. These are what's showing up. This is what's ranking. And so you take those 2 or 3 top things and you create a unique, we're not plagiarizing, a unique piece of content that is better than what is ranking for those terms in your community right now. When you do that over time, creating articles that are about 800 to 1200 words, you will start to see yourself ranking for those same keywords over time and building on that. There's more to it than that, but that's a great strategy that you could literally implement tomorrow and start seeing results with your SEO strategies. Online reviews. So who here has a Google business profile? Who here focuses really, really strong on getting Google reviews? Great, great. The easiest way to boost those is to have a strategy, right? Most people don't have a strategy. They're winging it. Winging it doesn't win. So what you need to do is you need to just Google yourself in your neighborhood. Googling yourself here doesn't work because you're not in your neighborhood unless you are in Centennial, Colorado. But if you Google elder law attorney, estate planning attorney, you want to see what pops up on Google. Who's Google recommending right now if you're at your office, who is Google recommending? How many reviews do they have? 10, 300, 5,000, 50? I don't know, right? But now you know your goal, right? You want one more than that person, right? How do I get one more than that person that's ranking where it needs to go? And it doesn't, if one person has 1 million and the second person has 50, well, let's go for 51. We'll be number 2. That's okay too, right? But now you know your goal. So work backwards. How many months is it going to take to get us there realistically? Google can be weird. Let me tell you a real story that happened 3 weeks ago. One of our clients, been working on this for years. Google just deleted their business profile. They're like, where did my business profile go? Gone. So we had to work with them. We had to work with Google, which is really fun. I don't know if you've ever had to work with Google representatives. That's an interesting process, but they were able to get it back. They had no reason. Oh, it just disappeared. So Google can be weird. But yeah, my big thing is like, don't get caught up. Keep moving forward. Sometimes people will leave reviews. Google will think they're not real reviews, right? And then they won't even post them up on there. That's okay. Just keep moving forward. If you get stuck in the weeds and you stop doing it, somebody else that's not stuck in the weeds is going to succeed, and they're going to outlast you on Google. And those are super important. Here's what you need to do. You need to ask for the review all the time. All the time. It needs to be in your email signature. It needs to be in your email newsletters, workshops, webinars. If someone comes to your workshop, you're up here doing a workshop, at the end of the workshop, you're like, who got value out of this workshop? Can you please scan this QR code? It's the only way, even if you don't retain me, even if you don't sign up for the consultation today, if you got value out of this workshop and you enjoyed your time and you learned one thing, can you please just scan this and leave a quick Google review for me? That would mean a lot to me. And you don't even have to sign up for the consultation. Get those Google reviews. QR codes in the office. People know those now because, remember that thing a couple years ago where you had to like scan a QR code to even like look at your menu at dinner? That was like, people know how to use it now. Even the elderly people know how to use QR codes. And automation after the final payment. That's an easy one. Depending on your CRM, they pay and boom, get the review. And they don't need to have hired you. They just have needed to have an amazing experience. And so obviously there's different softwares out there. We have one. There's a million different ones, but it automates the process for you. You can get Google reviews that are great. Social media and YouTube. I put on there as the first bullet point, look alive. And the reason why I say look alive is because you would be surprised how many firms have social media that they haven't used it in years. The example I always like to give is like, well, the last post they made was like February 2020. What happened to them? And so that's a real thing. You want to have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google Business Profile, and LinkedIn as estate planning and elder law firms. Those are the ones that are going to be your top 80, the 80% that are going to be the most valuable for you. If you want to start spending time once you've mastered all the other things we talk about, if you want to start mastering and dabbling in some of the other new ones, feel free. But that's where you're going to get the bulk of your business. And the reason you want to post on there is so that, I try to say this the nicest way. You're not going to get a flood of clients from social media, typically. But your clients are going to look at social media before they actually decide they want to retain you. So the people that have went to your workshops or that somebody had referred them to or whatever, they're going to look at your social media to see what kind of content that you're putting out there. Is it helpful? Is it valuable? Is it educational? Is it nice? Is this a firm that I feel like resonates with me, so I want to work with them? You're not going to post something on social media and then you're like, man, I got 3 clients today because I posted, it's Donut Tuesday. That's not happening at all. 0% chance. So don't get that expectation. YouTube strategy that has been really, really awesome. Patrick Kelleher. I don't know. You know Patrick Kelleher? He's out in Massachusetts, outside of Boston. And we've been building his YouTube channel. That was one of his most recent videos, 3,000 views. The strategy on this is pretty cool. He gets a lot of people that find him on YouTube because mom and dad might live in Boston, right? But the kids live in California. You're not running ads in California if you live in Boston. That'd be a total waste of money. But on YouTube, they found Patrick Kelleher in California because he's talking and educating those families in other states. So it's a great strategy. It boosts you up as kind of like an authority in your local community. And you're getting clients that you wouldn't have normally found through other ways with paid advertising. And I mean, really, it is kind of nice to have a YouTube channel that's people are watching. And we're going to talk more about this in tomorrow's session. It's more of a long game strategy. And if you have questions about YouTube, Nicole, over there in that back corner, she works with Bambiz and she's like the best at YouTube. So if you have questions throughout the breaks, talk to Nicole because she has a wealth of knowledge on YouTube. Email management. Who here has a weekly email newsletter they send out like clockwork? This is one thing for the 95% of you that don't do that you should start doing. And I literally have the entire presentation tomorrow about the long game. But you need to stay top of mind with all of the people that are coming into your law firm. Email is the number one way for you to do that. You own it. It needs to be at least once a week for the best results. Each thing that people download or request or do should also ideally, if you're not doing anything right now, which was the 95%, let's not even talk about that. But if you are doing 1 time a week minimum, when you're having other things, you should have a drip sequence, which means multiple emails going out, thanking them and reminding them and getting them pumped up and excited about the thing that they had just requested from you. It's not annoying. If somebody wants to opt out, we're not like a scammer. So like you can literally have an unsubscribe button. You have to have an unsubscribe button. They're going to click unsubscribe. Most people aren't going to unsubscribe. When you have somebody that joins your newsletter for the first time, this is my favorite way to engage those people. 5 emails, and this is what they go. Who you are. You're just welcoming them to your email. Who you are. Very short. This is not a long email. This is like maybe 100 to 200 words. The next email goes out the next day. I know that seems a lot. It's not. What do you do? I know you know what you do, but they don't know what you do. And then the next email that goes out the next day. Why do you do it? I know all of you have a unique story about what got you into this field. Tell your unique story. Why do you do what you do? The next day that one goes out says, how do you help people? And I put there in ways that they probably had no idea about. That's what you need to be sharing. Again, these are all like 100 to 200 word emails that are going to go out. And then the final one, after you've told them who you are, what you do, why you do it, why it's important to you, why you help people, give them a call to action. The next step, if this is something that you want to do, would be come to our workshop. Would be to set up a one-on-one consultation. Would be to download this book and read it. Whatever that is at your firm, it's going to be different for all the different firms. But give them a call to action. Give them the next step. They don't know. You might think they know, they don't know. So give them the next step. And then from that point moving forward, they are on a weekly email newsletter communication with you until they decide to unsubscribe. Not many are going to unsubscribe. And then, like I said, tomorrow we're going to go into depth about how to do that, why it's important. But again, you own that list. Facebook disappears. You got your list. And that will keep you growing into the future. Workshops, seminars, and webinars. So we're going to have a lot we're talking about over the next day and a half about workshops, seminars, webinars. Once you have done the workshop or you've done the seminar, you can optimize that process and duplicate that process over and over and over again, like clockwork. The reason that a lot of firms like it, I think this is the reason why Bambiz kind of like started off so strong once we started figuring out the workshop world and like the online space, was that you see results in 30 days. So if you literally start doing a workshop, you market the workshop for 2 weeks, you host your workshop, you get some people already in for the consultation, within 30 days, you may not have retained somebody yet, but you have like your schedule built out for the next 30 days. You saw humans in a room, you talked to them, and you moved them on to the next step. So it's emotionally a big win when you do a workshop and you see results. You know the pain points that your ideal clients have. Again, I'm stressing that in lots of these slides because some people talk about things that don't matter to their ideal clients. And I want to make sure that when you're doing these workshops, you're feeding the right clients into your practice. You're going to teach why, not how. Why this is important. You're not going to tell them how. That's going to confuse these people. They have no idea. They don't want it. They want you to do the how later, but not at your workshop. Follow up after the RSVP. This is the biggest thing. If you just optimize your follow-up, you'll win with workshops. You're not being annoying. Like they literally signed up for a workshop because they wanted to attend the workshop. So if you're reminding them to come to your workshop, it's not annoying. Some strategies for you to easily do that is when you're following with these people, just be so excited. The tonality that you have when you're talking to these people, even leaving voice messages, because who really, at the end of the day, like I don't answer. If it says random call, I'm not answering it. But if I get a voicemail and I read the transcription and then I listen to it, and it's something that's very excited. Hi, this is Jim Blake from the Blake Law Firm, and I am so excited that you had signed up for our workshop next Tuesday. Did you have any questions that you wanted Attorney Blake to go over at that? We're saving your seat. We have something special there for you, whatever it may be, right? You're really hyping them up about the event. Not just, are you coming to the event? What was that? My daughter watches Monsters, Inc. You don't want to be Roz. Thanks for signing up for the workshop. You don't want to do that, right? So follow up, be super personable when you're following up. You want somebody that's very people pleasing. One thing that we've seen a couple times too, you want to have your workshop at a place that has like easy parking, easy to get to. You want to make as few barriers to your event as possible. Wow, we got 50 people signed up for a workshop. Parking's $30. You got to go up 10 flights of stairs and whatever. Yeah, we only got 10 people to come. Like, why? They realized that they didn't want to pay $30 an hour to park, So you got to start to like coordinate that. One thing I will say, and I know it's not on here, A lot of people are asked, like, should I do my workshops at places that have food? Some people want to do them at like Ruth's Chris. Some people do them at the library. Some people do them at an Embassy Suites, okay? As far as like getting the person to actually sign up for the workshop, our data shows us that it's about the same cost to acquire that lead. If you're doing it at Ruth's Chris or Embassy Suites or the local library at a free place, community center. So at the end of the day, my recommendation, if I'm doing it at my law firm, right? If I was doing it, I'm doing it at the place that is just the easiest to get to at the lowest cost for the firm, because I want people to actually come to the event for the education and the resources and the knowledge and not come for that delicious dinner at Ruth's Chris. And then finally, we're going to talk about the long game tomorrow. Because again, you're doing this, you're getting clients, you're seeing results in 30 days, but most of these folks still aren't going to be retaining you from that workshop. Most of your future business is coming from the long game.
That's a wrap on another episode of the Elder Law Growth Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things marketing for elder law and estate planning law firms. Here you can find all of the tools and skills you need to market your own practice without wasting your time. If you like this podcast, please leave us a review wherever you're listening. And if you're ready to take the pressure off and let our team handle your marketing, visit bambiz.net and book a free call with us today.